So at 14 power, it's about right on here. Howdy guys, Rex here. We're out here on the range with the Zeiss CONQUEST V6. Nice little optic here. It's a 3 to 18 power optic, actually made in Germany according to the little stamp here. And we're trying this in the field. This is equipped with minute of angle turrets and a parallax adjustment on the side, which actually goes from 50 to infinity without any markings on it. So what you got to do is you got to get up on this optic and verify that you're in good focus with whatever you're shooting at. And that's not a bad way to do it. You can move your head back and forth a little bit and see if you have any kind of crosshairs moved across the target when the rifle's totally secured here. The eyepiece is very adjustable. We got this nice and crisp for us. The reticle is an interesting design. It's kind of a Christmas tree style reticle, if you want to call it that, and it's in minutes of angle, and we found that the major horizontal subtensions that branch out into the Christmas tree branches will be approximately at 14 power magnification, will be scaled to where each one of those major branches coming off is about 5 minutes of angle. We just got done doing our box test on the box to bench precision targets. If you go on box to bench precision's website, you'll find a lot of different neat targets. This one's the minute of angle grid style target. It's called the Rex grid, and it's just a real basic deal. Just shows you where you're hitting in terms of when you adjust your optic, and if you want to do a tracking test and stuff like that. I often go for the tracking test because I'm a stickler on tracking precision. I really like that. This optic is made in Germany according to the little stamp on it. So I did want to check and see how well it performed in terms of tracking, and it actually did pretty darn good. Now this particular scope is not really designed for tactical applications, in my opinion. This scope is more generally configured for sportsman's applications. This one does have a second focal plane reticle. It does have a minute of angle reticle in it with kind of a Christmas tree style holdover deal, where if you crank it to 14 power magnification, if you put this on 14 power right here, that reticle will actually be scaled properly, and it's actually dead on dead on accurate at 14 power magnification. If you crank it up to 18, it's kind of in between units below that same deal. So it's kind of a weird spot to put it. There's no marking of any kind that would indicate that that's where it is coming out to be. However, I think that you know, a guy could get a little Sharpie and put a little dot on there if you ever planned on using a reticle. That being said, the reticle is a little bit crude in terms of thickness. It's that European style reticle that's a bit thicker. Even with a second focal plane, when you crank it up to 18 power, it's pretty thick. So if it was a first focal plane reticle and you would crank it up to the higher magnifications, it would be very, very thick. That's not a bad deal. It's just a different, you know, it's designed for a different maybe market, or a lot of American precision marksmen prefer very fine reticles in terms of, especially the guys that like the second focal plane stuff. That's usually their primary reason for going second focal plane, is to have a very fine aiming point. This ain't horrible, but it's definitely got that European thickness to it, which is very common in German scopes and European optics in general. It's just a preference, an equipment preference that's different than ours. That being said, the overall quality of the optic is very nice. It's built in a very refined way, but not like robust or rugged so much in terms of its feel. It is a little bit heavier. It is made in Germany, so that the mechanisms are built with good precision. They track with good precision. The reliability of the tracking, I'd say from the testing we just did, is 95%. Which is interesting. I had a couple issues when it come back down. You'd get a flyer like a minute and a half off to the side, going in between cranking up 25 minutes of angle and coming down back to zero and doing up and down about 10 times. There was a couple times where it kind of had to settle in laterally in terms of its horizontal adjustment when we're doing that tracking test. So that was an interesting deal. But the precision is good for the most part. Just not 100% reliable there. The test rifle is getting pretty darn wore out. We've got a lot of miles on this thing, over 7,000 rounds on this 243. And so it's grouping them in there around a minute. But overall, the scope's very nicely refined. It's not got that, it doesn't have that super rugged feel they're going to see in military grade optics in terms of the mechanisms and stuff like that, how they're built. But it's a very clean, nice gentleman's optic. If you're going to be using it for sporting applications and stuff like that, I don't think it's a bad deal at all. Overall, I do like this optic. Just be mindful of exactly what you're going to try to do with it and the feature set that it's configured for what you're trying to do.
You really thought you'd get away with it, big guy?
Got it. Alpha 9 or Tango 1-3, this is Maverick Lizard King.
Indexing hasty solution is 7.
Yeah.
What in the hell are you holding?
It's not sure.
It's an MP49, it's a saw.
Target's got good cover. What's our danger space for a headshot at TRP-5?
Hi, Mom. It's me and my pals. Say hi, guys.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man.
You're shorter than I expected.
These are super.